I know your son is a freedom rider.
Turn the bus! Everybody out!
No, I never understood what you all really went through. You've changed my heart.
You made a lot of headlines with the make-out scene with Oprah and the tiggle bitty lines, but yet there's a very small part of that scene actually made it into the movie. How did you feel about that?
I haven't seen the movie yet.
Oh, okay.
And I wasn't talking about anything I saw on camera. I was talking about just the reality of a beautiful woman. And I may have been inappropriate in how it was expressed, but the sentiments are very true. She's a very well-blessed and beautiful woman, and I think the rest of the world needs to understand that and see her as that. You know, she is a woman.
Well, during my interview with her earlier today, she said she would love to roll around in the hay with Mr. Terrence Howard. So, hey, your new name is Mr. Steal Your Girl.
I'm not sure. Oprah better be careful.
Now,
I can fall in love quick.
You also said that she told you, and I'm paraphrasing here, that the crown is yours. All you have to do is pick it up and put it on.
Yeah.
How important was that advice for your career?
It was more important for my life, because we all have scepters in our hands, and oftentimes we're so busy trying to throw them away, and we can't throw them away. They're attached to us, and we end up hitting people because we don't realize the power of those scepters. And when we recognize that we were all made in God's image, my son is made in my image, which means he looks like me, he has my abilities, he's equal to me. Therefore, we are all carrying pieces of God's unity within us, and when we recognize God in each other and in ourselves, then the entire world is able to be the full extension and live as God's children and inherit the blessings of God's people. It's all right there. So keeping that crown on us, that crown that is a reflection of God's light, that's what Cecil does in the movie. That's what Gloria does in the movie. That's what David Oyelowo does in the movie. Everyone does it in a different way. Lenny's character does it in a beautiful way. So we are all responsible to do that and raise the human consciousness so we can evolve into the state of godlike beings.
A huge part of this story, a whole story in the movie, was the Emmett Till story. It motivated David's character to go off and join the Freedom Riders and do a bunch of stuff. How do you think the Trayvon Martin case will impact today's youth? Do you think it will motivate them in a similar way?
Well, hopefully the Trayvon Martin case will create a lot of social change with regards to gun laws and the right to stand up for oneself, you know, not just in Florida, but throughout the entire country. But I hope youths recognize that sometimes the confrontation, like Paul said, all things are lawful, but not all things are advantageous. Trayvon had a right to stand there and to battle, but it would have been more advantageous had he walked away. Cecil, in many cases in this movie, had a right to stand and argue about a particular point, but he chose to walk and allow God's justice to correct the circumstance and the matter. And just because you have the might of hand doesn't mean that it's necessarily should be used at that time. And I hope they learn a little more patience and discipline, and maybe sometimes it's better to hold one's tongue and hold one's place instead of exercising the human right that we have to fight in the circumstance, because I think he could make a great contribution with that much courage in him, you know, if the tragedy hadn't occurred.
Where do you find your peace?
Peace is something that doesn't come from outside. You can't go looking for it outside. You have to quiet the mind, which is not who we are. It's an impersonator of us. The mind is a collection of so many thoughts from the past. It's a pain body. The moment that you can quiet that, you will find that your true nature is connected to the being, the art of being, to God himself. You'll feel the resonance of God inside of you, and that's the joy and peace that can't be taken away from you.
Another fun, like when you're with your friends and family?
I don't do that, so I don't, you know, I can only speak to that from the point of view of when I was growing up. There was a poem by Paul Laurence.
My country, the world, you know what I mean? And so, in that sense, I wouldn't say Hollywood, you know what I mean? I would say the world itself in general.
And doing that through art?
No, not necessarily through art.